In the vast subcontinent of India, where empires had risen and fallen for centuries, a new power arrived from the north in the 16th century. They were warriors from Central Asia, descendants of Timur and Genghis Khan. They would go on to build one of the richest, most powerful, and culturally vibrant empires in world history, the Mughal Empire. This is the story of the Mughal emperors, from Babur, the conqueror of Panipat, to Bahadur Shah II, the poet in exile. A tale of glory, struggle, art, ambition, and the slow erosion of imperial power. Babur, 1526 to 1530. Babur was born in 1483 in Fergana, modern-day Uzbekistan. A descendant of both Timur and Genghis Khan, he had royal blood but little land. Driven from his ancestral home, Babur turned toward India. In 1526, he met the forces of the Delhi Sultanate at the First Battle of Panipat. Though outnumbered, he used field artillery and tactics learned in Central Asia to crush the enemy. With that, he became the first Mughal emperor of India. Babur's reign was brief, only 4 years, but in that time, he laid the foundation of a dynasty that would rule India for more than 300 years. Humayun 1530 to 1540, 1555 to 1556. Babur's son Humayun was cultured and kind, but politically weak. He lost the empire to Sher Shah Suri, an Afghan general who drove him into exile. For 15 years, Humayun wandered, seeking refuge, gaining Persian support, and eventually reclaiming his throne in 1555. But just months later, he died tragically, falling down the stairs of his library. Though his reign was unstable, Humayun's return brought with it Persian art, language, and court traditions, shaping Mughal culture for generations. Akbar the Great, 1556 to 1605. At just 13 years old, Akbar inherited an empire teetering on collapse, but the boy became a legend. Through warfare and diplomacy, Akbar expanded Mughal control across northern India. He married Hindu princesses, abolished the jizya tax on non-Muslims, and welcomed all faiths to his court. He founded a new city, Fatehpur Sikri, launched administrative reforms, and created a syncretic faith, Din-e-Ilahi, aiming for harmony among religions. When Akbar died in 1605, the Mughal Empire was vast, wealthy, and united, and Akbar himself was remembered as one of the greatest emperors in history. Jahangir, 1605 to 1627. Akbar's son Jahangir was a patron of the arts, a lover of poetry, and a man of deep contradictions. His rule saw the flourishing of Mughal miniature painting and Persian literature. But Jahangir also faced rebellions and court intrigues. His wife Nur Jahan became the real power behind the throne, issuing royal orders and ruling with confidence and skill. Under Jahangir, the Mughal court reached new heights of luxury, but its foundations began to show signs of strain. Shah Jahan, 1628 to 1658. Jahangir's son, Shah Jahan, is best remembered for a monument of love, the Taj Mahal, built for his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. His reign was the cultural high point of the Mughal Empire. The Red Fort in Delhi, the Jama Masjid, and other magnificent structures were built. The empire was rich, powerful, and admired across the world. But succession wars loomed. His son Aurangzeb overthrew him in 1658 and imprisoned him in the Agra fort, where he spent his final years gazing at the Taj Mahal. Aurangzeb, 1658 to 1707. Aurangzeb Alamgir was a devout Muslim and a fierce ruler. He reversed the policies of religious tolerance, reinstated the jizya tax, and imposed strict Islamic laws. Under Aurangzeb, the empire reached its largest territorial size, stretching across nearly all of India. But this expansion came at a cost. Endless wars in the Deccan, suppression of revolts, and alienation of non-Muslims weakened the empire's cohesion. His rule sowed the seeds of decline. Aurangzeb died in 1707, weary, isolated, and leaving behind a divided empire. The beginning of the end, 1707 to 1803. After Aurangzeb's death, the empire fractured. His successors were weak and often puppets in the hands of ambitious nobles and regional warlords. Powerful groups like the Marathas, Sikhs, and Rajputs rose. Persian invader Nader Shah sacked Delhi in 1739 and took the Peacock Throne and Koh-i-Noor Diamond. By the late 1700s, the British East India Company had begun to gain real power. In 1761, the Mughals lost to the Afghans at Panipat. By 1803, Delhi itself was under British protection. The emperor still sat on the throne, but he ruled little beyond the palace walls. Bahadur Shah II, 1837 to 1857. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah II, was a gentle soul, a poet, not a politician. He ruled a city, not a country. But in 1857, during the Indian Rebellion, sepoys rose against the British and declared Zafar as their symbolic leader. For a moment it seemed the empire might rise again. The rebellion failed. British forces recaptured Delhi and brutally crushed the revolt. Zafar was arrested, tried, and exiled to Rangoon, Burma. There he died in 1862, far from his beloved Delhi, buried in an unmarked grave. The Mughals ruled India for over 3 centuries. They brought with them art, architecture, administration, and a legacy that would shape South Asia forever. They built monuments of love and waged wars of ambition. They united kingdoms and eventually watched them slip away. From the rugged hills of Fergana to the marble domes of Agra, the Mughals left their mark on the soul of India. Their empire's gone, but their memory and still stands.